The 1970 United States quarter dollar is part of the long-running Washington Quarter series, which has a rich and significant place in the numismatic and historical landscape of the United States. The Washington Quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the birth of the first U.S. President, George Washington, and the design became so popular that it continued as the standard quarter design for many decades. The 1970 issue remains a classic part of this series, struck during a transitional time in American coinage, both historically and technologically. The obverse of the 1970 Washington Quarter features the familiar portrait of George Washington, designed by the sculptor John Flanagan in 1932. This portrait remained largely unchanged for many years, becoming one of the most recognizable images on U.S. coinage. Portrait: Washington's bust faces left. Inscriptions: Liberty is inscribed along the top edge. In God We Trust is positioned to the left of Washington's neck. The date 1970 appears centered beneath Washington's portrait. Designer initials: small JF initials, for John Flanagan, appear at the base of Washington's neck. The obverse design reflects the dignity and leadership of George Washington, symbolizing American independence and unity. The reverse design was also by John Flanagan, depicting a proud heraldic eagle, which is a symbol of American strength and freedom. The eagle is shown with outstretched wings. The eagle holds a bundle of arrows, representing military readiness. Below the arrows are olive branches, symbolizing the nation's desire for peace. United States of America appears at the top. E pluribus unum, out of many one, is just above the eagle's head. Quarter dollar is written at the year, bottom indicating the denomination. The eagle design was a familiar and enduring image for Americans, emphasizing national identity during the Cold War era. Feature description composition 91, 67% copper, 8.33% nickel, clad composition, weight 5.67 grams, diameter 24.26, meter thickness 1.75 mm. Edge reeded 119 reeds. It's important to note that prior to 1965, quarters were made of 90% silver. But due to rising silver prices, the U.S. Mint shifted to the copper-nickel clad composition starting in 1965, which continued through the 1970 coin. In 1970, the Washington Quarter was struck at the following mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver. D mint mark, San Francisco, S mint mark. Only for proof coins. The mint mark can be found on the obverse side. Just to the right of Washington's ponytail, Philadelphia struck the bulk of the circulation coins. Denver also produced circulation coins. San Francisco produced proof coins mainly for collectors. Mint mintage Philadelphia, no mark. 136,520,000 Denver. D. 417 down 341 364 San Francisco. S. Proof. 632,810. The Denver Mint produced the highest number of 1970 quarters, making the D quarters quite common. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1970 quarter involves a rare and highly collectible variety. A handful of proof quarters were accidentally struck over previously minted 1941 Canadian quarters. These era coins are extremely rare and have sold for thousands of dollars at auction. You can see traces of the Canadian coin details beneath the Washington Quarter design under magnification. Such errors add excitement to the numismatic world, driving collectors to hunt for these elusive pieces. The year 1970 was a time of great transition and tension in American society. The Vietnam War was ongoing, and anti-war protests were at their peak. The U.S. was deeply involved in the Cold War. The environmental movement was gaining momentum with the first Earth Day in April 1970. Technological advancements, such as the Apollo space program, showcased American innovation. Economically, inflation was rising, but the U.S. economy remained strong. The quarter circulated heavily, as Americans continued to rely on cash transactions in an increasingly mobile society. For most circulated 1970 quarters, face value 25 cents. Circulated condition. Value 25 cents to $1, depending on condition, uncirculated condition, MS65 and higher. $5 to $25 or more proof coins, 1970 US. $3 to $15, depending on grade rare varieties, like the overstruck 1941 Canadian quarter. $35,000, 50,000 Palas values vary, greatly based on condition, rarity, and demand from collectors. Look for well-struck examples with strong details, especially in Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers. Proof coins from San Francisco are often found in brilliant condition. Watch for double dies, full strike varieties, and mint errors. Always store your coins in protective holders to prevent damage. It represents a mature phase of the Washington Quarter series. Before the bicentennial redesign of 1975 to 76, the coin reflects both a continuation of tradition and subtle technological advancements in minting. The rare error varieties of this year add a layer of mystery and value. The 1970 United States quarter dollar is more than just pocket change. It carries the legacy of George Washington, reflects an era of American resilience and social change, and continues to attract collectors due to its enduring design, mint variations, and rare errors. While most 1970 quarters are common, high-grade, examples and rare error coins can be quite valuable and highly sought after by numismatists worldwide. The 1983 United States quarter dollar represents a fascinating chapter in American numismatics, not only because of its design, but also due to the historical context of its minting, economic conditions of the era, minting challenges, and its, later, numismatic significance. This coin belongs to the Washington Quarter series, which had been in continuous production since 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. By 1983, the coin had already been circulating for over 50 years, and several historical, technical, and collector-related factors had shaped its production and significance. Historical background: the early 1980s in America. The early 1980s were a period of considerable change and challenge for the United States. The nation was recovering from the stagflation of the 1970s, a combination of stagnant economic growth and high inflation. In 1983, President Ronald Reagan was in office, leading the country through economic reforms known as Reaganomics, which emphasized tax cuts, deregulation, and reductions in government spending. The unemployment rate in 1983 was still relatively high, but began declining as the economy showed signs of recovery. Inflation also slowed compared to previous years. This backdrop influenced many sectors, including the U.S. Mint and the production of coinage. Design of the 1983 quarter dollar. The 1983 quarter continued to feature the familiar Washington quarter design, which has become one of the most iconic in U.S. coinage. Obverse. Front. Designed by John Flanagan, the obverse features a left-facing bust of George Washington, the first President of the United States. Above his head is the word Liberty. To the left of Washington's neck appears the motto, "In God We Trust." Below the bust is the year of minting, 1983. The mint mark, if present, appears to the right of the bow on Washington's ponytail, either P for Philadelphia or D for Denver. Notably, in 1983, no quarters were struck at the San Francisco Mint for circulation. Proof versions were made at San Francisco, with an S mint mark, reverse, back. The reverse displays the classic heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, clutching a bundle of arrows and olive branches beneath it. Above the eagle is the legend, United States of America, and the national motto, A pluribus unum. Out of many one. Below the eagle is the denomination, quarter dollar. Minting details and mintage numbers. In 1983, the U.S. Mint produced quarters at two primary mints, Philadelphia, no mint mark or P. Mintage, approximately 673,535,000 coins. Denver, D mint mark, mintage, approximately 617,800 coins. San Francisco, S mint mark, proof only. Mintage, approximately 3,226 proof coins. The total mintage in 1983 was quite high due to strong demand for circulating coinage as the economy expanded. However, a unique numismatic situation unfolded that would later make high-quality 1983 quarters highly desirable. One of the most critical factors making 1983 quarters special among collectors is that the U.S. Mint did not issue uncirculated mint sets for collectors that year, as well as in 1982. Due to budget constraints and production issues, the Mint canceled these annual mint sets, which normally provided collectors with pristine, uncirculated coins. As a result, finding high-grade, uncirculated 1983 quarters became much harder. Since most 1983 quarters were released directly into circulation, they experienced heavy wear, scratches, and damage from daily use. Today, a 1983p or 1983d quarter, in mint state, MS65 or higher, is far scarcer than many other modern quarters and often commands significant premiums. Metal composition and specifications composition. Copper-nickel clad, outer layers of 75% copper, 25% nickel bonded to an inner core of pure copper. Weight, 5.67 grams, diameter, 24.26 millimeters. Edge, reeded, 119 reeds. Thickness, 1.75 millimeters. Though silver quarters had been discontinued for regular circulation after 1964, the copper-nickel clad composition, introduced in 1965, continued through 1983 and remains standard for circulating quarters today. The 1983 quarter dollar also produced several interesting era coins and varieties that collectors seek. 1983 P-double. Die reverse, DDR. One of the most famous varieties is the doubled die reverse from Philadelphia minted coins. This variety shows doubling particularly in the words United States of America and E pluribus unum. Well-struck DDR examples can sell for hundreds of dollars depending on condition and prominence of the doubling. Several off-center strikes, die cracks, and other striking anomalies have been found for 1983 quarters due to minting errors, clipped planchets, and wrong planchet errors. Occasional clipped planchets and rare examples of 1983 quarters struck on dime planchets or foreign planchets exist. Circulated examples, generally worth face value unless in excellent condition. Uncirculated examples, MS65 or higher. Typically, valued between 20 tolons to 150 or more, depending on mint mark and grade. Double die reverse, DDR, can be worth hundreds or even thousands if certified in top grades. Proof coins, S-Mint, usually valued between $3 and $10, depending on condition and whether it remains in original packaging. Collector interest. The 1983 quarter is highly sought after in pristine condition due to the absence of mint sets for 1983. Its relatively high rate of circulation and wear. The famous DDR variety. The general difficulty of locating high-grade examples compared to other modern quarters. Because of these factors, the 1983 quarter holds a unique place in 20th century U.S. coin collecting, often included in specialty sets, such as the no mint set years of 1982 and 1983. Cultural and numismatic legacy. The Washington quarter continued unchanged until 1999, when it was replaced by the State Quarters program. However, the 1983 issue stands as a symbol of numismatic scarcity in modern clad coinage. It reminds collectors that even seemingly common circulating coins can possess hidden rarity when circumstances, like missing mint sets, create demand. For high-grade specimens. For newer collectors, the 1983 Washington quarter offers an accessible yet challenging search target, whether searching pocket change, roll hunting, or acquiring certified examples from reputable dealers. The 1974 United States quarter dollar is a remarkable coin that belongs to the Washington Quarter series, one of the most enduring and iconic coin designs in American numismatic history. First introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, the Washington quarter has become a symbol of American coinage, with its obverse design remaining largely consistent for decades. The 1974 quarter, struck during a period of great economic, political, and cultural transition in the United States, carries with it significant historical, technical, and numismatic importance. The obverse of the 1974 quarter, features a profile. Portrait of George Washington, the first President of the United States, facing left. This iconic design was created by sculptor John Flanagan, whose work was selected in a public competition organized by the U.S. Treasury in the early 1930s. Washington's portrait is strong and dignified, reflecting his role as the founding leader of the young nation. His hair is tied back in the colonial style with a ribbon, adding a historical flavor to the coin. Around the portrait, the inscriptions include the word Liberty, positioned above Washington's head, while the national motto, "In God We Trust," is located to the left of his neck. The date, 1974, is inscribed at the bottom of the coin beneath Washington's bust. Notably, quarters minted at the Philadelphia Mint carry no mint mark, while those struck in Denver bear a small D mint mark on the obverse, located to the right of Washington's ponytail and just above the date. The reverse of the 1974 quarter features the classic heraldic eagle design, also by John Flanagan. This design was used from 1932 until 1998, before the introduction of the 50-state quarters program. The eagle is depicted with its wings spread wide, symbolizing strength and freedom. In its talons, the eagle clutches a bundle of arrows, representing military readiness, while an olive branch beneath the arrows represents America's desire for peace. Surrounding the eagle, the inscriptions read, "United States of America," at the top. "E pluribus unum," out of many one. Beneath that, and the denomination $quarter at the bottom. This reverse design is simple yet elegant, reflecting classic American heraldry and emphasizing the nation's values of unity and strength. In terms of physical specifications, the 1974 quarter is composed of a copper nickel clad, consisting of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a core of pure copper. This clad composition replaced the 90% silver composition used prior to 1965 as part of the Coinage Act of 1965, which sought to address the rising cost of silver and the increasing demand for circulating coinage. The coin has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, a thickness of 1.75 millimeters, and a standard weight of 5.67 grams. Its edge is reeded with 119 reeds, giving it a distinctive tactile and visual characteristic common to U.S. quarters. The economic and political context of 1974 provides further depth to the coin's historical significance. The United States was experiencing significant challenges during this period, including the aftermath of the Watergate scandal, which led to President Richard Nixon's resignation in August 1974. The economy was also facing difficulties, including inflation, high unemployment, and the lingering effects of the 1973 oil crisis. Despite these challenges, the United States Mint continued producing billions of coins to meet the demands of commerce and daily transactions. At the Philadelphia Mint, over 801 million quarters were struck in 1974, while the Denver Mint produced approximately 353 million quarters. The San Francisco Mint also struck proof versions of the 1974 quarter, made specifically for collectors, with highly polished dies and planchets that produce coins of superior finish and detail. These proof coins bear the S Mint mark and were included in proof sets sold to collectors by the U.S. Mint. In terms of numismatic value, the 1974 quarter is generally considered a common coin in circulated condition due to its high mintage and widespread use. In circulated grades, good to extremely fine, these coins usually trade for their face value of 25 cents. However, uncirculated examples, especially those graded MS65 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, can command higher prices from collectors. Particularly pristine or high-grade specimens may fetch premiums depending on their strike quality, luster, and overall eye appeal. Proof versions from the San Francisco Mint are also collectible, with deep cameo proofs being particularly desirable among numismatists. The 1974 quarter is also notable among error coin collectors. Certain errors, such as off-center strikes, doubled dies, clipped planchets, or improperly annealed planchets, can significantly enhance the value of individual coins. While no major doubled die varieties have been widely recognized for the 1974 quarter, minor varieties and errors can still be found and are of interest to specialized collectors. Culturally, the Washington quarter design reflects a period in American history where national pride, stability, and historical reverence were important themes. The portrait of Washington was not only a celebration of his leadership, but also a symbolic anchor during a century of rapid change. By 1974, the Washington quarter had already been circulating for over 4 decades, becoming a familiar object in the pockets, cash registers, and vending machines of millions of Americans. Collectors of the Washington quarter series often include the 1974 issue as part of complete sets spanning multiple decades. The series provides an opportunity to study the evolution of minting technology, design adjustments, and economic shifts in the United States over time. For newer collectors, the 1974 quarter offers an accessible entry point into numismatics, while more advanced collectors may pursue high-grade or rare error specimens to enhance their collections. In conclusion, the 1974 United States quarter dollar is much more than just a piece of pocket change. It is a small but powerful artifact that reflects the nation's history, artistry, economy, and technological progress. Whether viewed as a collectible item, a historical document, or simply as a functional piece of currency, the 1974 quarter continues to hold a place of respect and fascination among numismatists and casual collectors alike. Its enduring design and connection to George Washington ensure its place as a timeless symbol of American coinage. The 1982 United States quarter dollar, part of the long-standing Washington quarter series, represents a significant coin in American numismatic history, both for its mintage features and for the historical and economic context in which it was struck. The obverse of the coin features the iconic portrait of George Washington, designed by sculptor John Flanagan, based on the original bust created by Jean-Antoine Houdon in 1785. Washington's portrait, with its classical, dignified profile, facing left, symbolizes the enduring legacy of the first President of the United States. Above his head arcs the inscription, "Liberty," while the national motto, "In God We Trust," is engraved to the left of Washington's neck, and beneath his bust lies the year of minting, 1982. The reverse of the coin, unchanged since its introduction, in 1932, displays the heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, clutching a bundle of arrows in its talons, a symbol of strength and preparedness, while an olive branch below signifies America's desire for peace. Above the eagle, the words, "United States of America," are boldly inscribed, with the national motto, "E pluribus unum," positioned just beneath, and the denomination quarter dollar encircling the bottom. The quarter, minted in both Philadelphia, no mint mark, and Denver, marked with a D, was struck in a clad composition of copper nickel over a pure copper core, a standard that had been adopted since 1965 when silver was removed from circulating, coinage due to rising metal prices. In 1982, the United States was enduring a period of economic recession, high unemployment, and inflation, which influenced coin production and distribution. The U.S. Mint produced a total of approximately 500 million quarters that year, with the Philadelphia Mint producing about 500 million, and the Denver Mint producing around 480 million. Notably, 1982 is a significant year for collectors because no official U.S. Mint uncirculated sets were issued for general public sale due to budget cuts, making high-grade, uncirculated 1982 quarters somewhat scarcer compared to other years. Many quarters from this year entered circulation directly, meaning that finding well-preserved examples in mint state condition is more challenging, which adds to the numismatic interest. This scarcity has elevated the collector demand for high-quality 1982 quarters, particularly those with strong strikes, full details, and minimal surface marks. The surfaces of 1982 quarters often display a weak strike, particularly on Washington's, hair curls, and the eagle's breast feathers, which can make fully struck examples desirable. Errors and varieties for the 1982 quarter include occasional off-center strikes, die cracks, and clashed dies, all of which can add to a coin's appeal and value among error collectors. Additionally, some coins may exhibit minor planchet issues, especially since quality control was sometimes strained during this high production year. The coin's reeded edge, consisting of 119 reeds, serves as both an anti-counterfeiting feature and a tactile characteristic of the Washington quarter design. From a broader perspective, the 1982 quarter serves as a snapshot of American coinage during a transitional period. The early 1980s marked a time before major redesigns such as the 50-state quarters program, which would not begin until 1999. Thus, the 1982 Washington quarter maintains the original, classical design that had graced American pockets for half a century. In circulation, the coin saw extensive use in everyday commerce, vending machines, parking meters, and payphones, a vital component of the American monetary system during a pre-digital economy. The coin's durability, owed to its clad composition, allowed it to remain in circulation for decades, and many 1982 quarters can still be found in pocket change today, though often well worn. For modern collectors, the 1982 quarter holds several points of interest: its historical context during the recession, its absence from standard mint sets, and the challenge of locating high-grade specimens. Graded examples in MS-65 and higher, especially with full luster and sharply defined devices, command premium values in the numismatic market. Additionally, full-step designations on the obverse or well-struck feathers on the reverse are highly desirable. Despite being a modern clad coin, the 1982 Washington quarter represents a unique convergence of American history, economics, and numismatic intrigue, ensuring its lasting place in the rich tapestry of U.S. coinage. The 2019 United States quarter dollar belongs to a unique chapter in American coinage history, primarily as part of the final years of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, a series of commemorative quarters that began in 2010 and ran through 2021 following the highly popular 50-state quarters program, 1990-2008, and the subsequent DC and U.S. Territories quarters, 2009. The America the Beautiful series was authorized by the America's Beautiful National Parks Quarter Dollar Coin Act of 2008, signed into law by President George W. Bush. Its goal was to honor national parks and significant sites across all U.S. states and territories. By 2019, this series had entered its penultimate years, producing 5 different reverse designs that paid tribute to the rich, natural, cultural, and historical heritage of the United States. Before we dive into each specific design, let's first examine the standard obverse front of all 2019 quarters. The obverse continued to feature the familiar portrait of George Washington, the first President of the United States. This portrait, originally designed by John Flanagan in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth, had been modified slightly over the years, but remained faithful to Flanagan's classic profile. Washington's bust faces, left with the inscriptions, United States of America, arching above, Liberty to the left, In God We Trust to the right, and the denomination quarter dollar below. Depending on the mint location, you will also find the mint mark P, Philadelphia, D, Denver, S, San Francisco, or special versions like W, West Point, which we'll discuss shortly. Now focusing on the reverse, back designs of 2019, 5 different national sites were commemorated. Lowell National Historical Park, Massachusetts, released in February 2019, this design pays homage to Lowell's rich industrial history during America's Industrial Revolution. The design by Joel Iskowitz depicts a mill girl at a power loom with its prominent circular bobbin battery, representing the vital role of women in Lowell's textile industry in the 19th century. Behind her, the boot mill clock tower stands, tall, a symbol of Lowell's historical industrial complex. The inscriptions include Lowell, Massachusetts, 2019, and A Pluribus Unum, American Memorial Park, Northern Mariana Islands. Released in April 2019, this quarter honors the sacrifices of American and Marianas people during World War II. Donna Weaver's design shows a Chamorro woman in traditional dress standing before the flag circle and court of honor, with the American flag waving behind her, symbolizing remembrance and respect for the fallen. The inscriptions read, American Memorial Park, Northern Mariana Islands, 2019, and E Pluribus Unum. War in the Pacific National Historical Park, Guam. Issued in June 2019, This quarter commemorates the significant role Guam played in the Pacific theater of World War II. Joel Iskowitz's reverse design depicts American forces landing at Asan Bay as they began the liberation of Guam. Two soldiers are seen wading ashore under the cover of palm trees, symbolizing bravery and sacrifice. The inscriptions include War in the Pacific, Guam, 2019, and E Pluribus Unum. San Antonio Missions National Historical Park, Texas. Released in August 2019, this design honors the Spanish colonial missions that were integral to Texas history and culture. Chris Costello's reverse design resembles a Spanish colonial coin, called a real, featuring four major elements: arches and aqueduct, representing community, a mission bell and cross, faith, wheat, agriculture, and a lion, Spanish heritage. The inscriptions are San Antonio Missions, Texas, 2019, and E Pluribus Unum, Frank Church River of No Return Wilderness, Idaho. The final 2019 quarter, released in November, depicts a rugged scene from Idaho's Frank Church Wilderness, the largest contiguous wilderness area in the lower 48 states. Emily Damstra's design shows a drift boat navigating the Salmon River, framed by steep canyon walls and soaring coniferous trees, capturing the area's rugged, untamed nature. The inscriptions are River of No Return Wilderness, Idaho, 2019, and E Pluribus Unum. A notable development in 2019 was the introduction of the highly sought-after West Point W Mint Mark quarters. For the first time, the U.S. Mint released circulating quarters struck at the West Point Mint. These coins were mixed randomly with the regular Philadelphia and Denver Mint coins and distributed through regular circulation channels. Only 2 million of each of the 5 2019 designs were struck with the W Mint Mark, making these coins a numismatic sensation, widely hunted by collectors and roll searchers. The purpose was to spark renewed public interest in coin collecting, especially among younger generations. In terms of physical specifications, the 2019 quarter dollar maintained the standard characteristics established since the clad coins replaced. 90% silver quarters in 1965, composition 91.67% copper, 8.33% nickel, outer layers of copper nickel over pure copper core. Weight 5.67 grams. Diameter 24.26 meter over 0.955 inches. Thickness 1.75 meters. Edge reeded 119 reeds. In addition to business strikes for circulation, the U.S. Mint also produced proof versions, both clad and 99.9% silver, at the San Francisco Mint, sold in annual collector sets. These coins exhibit mirror-like fields and frosted devices, highly prized for their aesthetic beauty and precision strike quality. Some 2019 silver-proof quarters were struck using pure silver, unlike earlier 90% silver-proof issues, as part of the Mint's ongoing modernization. The America the Beautiful program, including the 2019 releases, reflects not only artistic excellence, but also serves as an educational journey through America's diverse geography, culture, and history. The 2019 issues in particular stand out for their broad geographic representation. From New England's textile mills to the Pacific Islands war memorials, from Spanish mission heritage in Texas to the wild river canyons of Idaho, today, 2019 quarters, especially the W Mint quarters in high grade, MS-67, MS-68, and above, are highly collectible and command premiums far above face value. Even the regular P&D issues are sometimes collected in rolls, bags, and sets, especially in gem-uncirculated and proof condition. In conclusion, the 2019 United States quarter dollar represents a blend of American heritage, fine artistry, numismatic innovation, and collector excitement. It encapsulates not only the history of the places depicted, but also a significant moment in modern coinage with the historic W Mint Mark debut. Whether found in everyday pocket change or as prized gems and collector's albums, these coins remain a tangible connection to America's rich national story.